The crosshairs settled on the infected's left temple. 400 yards out, wind 3 miles per hour from the left, temperature 62 degrees, humidity 40%. All the numbers lined up perfectly in my head like they always did. "Send it," I whispered. The SR-25 kicked against my shoulder. Through the scope, I watched the infected's head snap back, the body crumpling mid-lunge. The family it had been charging, a mom, dad, and 2 kids, froze for a second, then scrambled into a nearby building. They'd never know who saved them. That's how I preferred it. "Clean shot, Reaper." Bishop's voice crackled through my earpiece. He was 50 yards to my left, spotting for me like he'd done 100 times before. "That's 23 for you this week. I'm at 19. "Quality over quantity, asshole," I said. "You're already packing up the rifle." "Oh, that's how we're playing it." I allowed myself a small smile. 2 weeks into the apocalypse, and we'd turned zombie hunting into a competition. Some people might call that sick. I called it maintaining professionalism. "My name's Axel Wolf. Most people call me Reaper, a nickname I earned in Afghanistan after my 100th confirmed kill. Not bragging, just facts. 8 years Army Ranger, 2nd Battalion, Sniper Division. 3 tours, more dead tangos than I care to remember, and 1 piece of shrapnel in my shoulder that ended my career. Now I was hunting a different kind of target. Bishop and I had set up our operation in an abandoned Brinks armored car depot in Seattle's industrial district. The building was a fortress, reinforced concrete, vault doors, enough security to make a paranoid billionaire jealous. When the rabies outbreak hit and people started eating each other, we didn't run. We adapted. "Movement on your 6, Bishop said. 3 infected shambling type. You want 'em or should I?" I glanced at my kill log. 23. Needed 25 to feel complete. OCD was a bitch even during the apocalypse. "I'll take them. Good practice. 3 shots, 3 seconds, 3 bodies, 26 total. Better." We met back at the depot an hour later. Bishop was already at the workbench field stripping his .50 caliber with the care most people reserved for their firstborn. 6'10", built like a tank, completely bald and sporting a beard that would make a lumberjack jealous. He looked more like a biker than a former Marine Scout sniper, but I'd seen him make 1,000-yard shots in sandstorms. "Family you saved showed up while you were out," he said, not looking up from the weapon. "Brought supplies, canned food, batteries, some medical stuff." "They say anything?" "Wanted to know who their guardian angel was." He grinned. "I told them we charge for guardian angel services. They can either pay or learn to shoot." This was our new business model. We kept our sector clear of infected. In exchange, survivors paid us in supplies, fuel, ammo, intel. Simple transaction. We weren't heroes, we were contractors doing a job. A knock on the reinforced door interrupted us. Bishop checked the security monitor. "Family of 4, look scared shitless." "Let them in, standard protocol." The father was maybe 40, soft around the middle, being the kind of guy who'd spent his life behind a desk. His wife clutched 2 kids, a boy and a girl, both under 10. They looked at us like we were either saviors or serial killers, probably both. You're the ones keeping this area clean?" the father asked. "That's us," Bishop said. "Welcome to the sanitization services." "Sanitization services?" "That's what it says on our truck." Bishop jerked his thumb toward our modified fortress parked in the bay. "You want protection, you pay the toll." The father's face went through several emotions. Shock, anger, then reality. He looked at his kids, at his wife, then back at us. "What do you need?" I pulled out our standard list. Canned food, batteries, medical supplies. Clean water if you've got it. Fuel is premium currency. We clear infected from your building once a week. You get early warning if threats approach. But we don't move in, we don't play community leader. And we definitely don't do personal favors. That's it? That's it. This is business, not charity. The wife started crying. Relief, probably. The father just nodded. We have supplies, not much, but we'll pay. Good man, Bishop said. He actually sounded sincere. Welcome to the Survival Club. Membership fees due weekly. After they left, I went back to cleaning my rifle. This was our routine now. Hunt, kill, collect, maintain equipment, sleep when we could. Bishop broke the silence. You ever think about how many people we've killed? I mean total, including before. My hands stilled on the rifle. 147, you? No, I mean... He paused. Forget it. Yeah, I said quietly. To me neither. We didn't talk about the ones from before. The insurgents, the tangos, the targets. They had been different. Enemy combatants in a war zone. These infected... They'd been people once. Neighbors, teachers, kids. I'd put a 7-year-old down last week. Still wore a superhero backpack. I didn't add that to my count differently. Dead was dead, but I remembered. The radio crackled to life. Emergency frequency, civilian broadcast. Military convoy spotted heading to Port of Seattle. Repeat, military convoy. Bishop and I locked eyes. Military means weapons, he said. I was already packing my gear. Let's go shopping. Bishop's grin was feral. My favorite kind of shopping. We had 30 minutes of daylight left. Just enough time to hit the port, assess the situation, and get back before the infected got active. A night was their time. We were smart enough not to play by their rules. As we rolled out in the fortress, our modified Brinks truck complete with gun ports and enough armor to stop small arms fire, I checked my rifle one more time. 147 kills before the outbreak, 26 this week. By this time tomorrow, I'd be adding to that count, and I was fine with that. Bishop drove while I ran through our approach plan. The fortress handled like a tank because it basically was one. We'd spent 3 days modifying the Brinks armored car, adding 1/4-inch steel plating to the sides, reinforcing the bumper with a ram-worthy cow catcher, and mounting a .50 caliber machine gun position on the roof. On the side, Bishop had spray-painted sanitization services in big letters. His idea of humor. So what's the play? Bishop asked. He'd weaving around an abandoned SUV. Hit them during daylight while the deaders are slow, or wait for dark and use thermals? Daylight. I want visibility. I pulled up the satellite map on my tablet, one of the few pieces of tech still working. Port of Seattle, Pier 18. If it's military, they'll have real weapons. M4s, probably some heavy stuff. You think they just left it? Government pulled out fast. Too fast. They left a lot behind. Bishop grunted. He'd seen the same thing in Iraq. Hasty withdrawals, abandoned equipment. The brass never learned. We reached the port 20 minutes later. The convoy was right where the radio said, 3 Humvees and 1 LMTV cargo truck, all abandoned in the middle of a parking lot, and circling them like sharks were at least 30 infected. Well, shit, Bishop said. That's more than I expected. I pulled out my rangefinder. Most are shamblers. Stage 2 degradation, minimal motor function, but I see at least 2 runners. Runners are a pain in the ass. Everything's a pain in the ass, I said, already setting up my SR-25 on the roof. That's why we get paid. Bishop climbed up with me, bringing the .50 caliber. We'd worked out a system. I'd take quiet shots with the suppressed rifle, dropping infected one by one. If things went loud, Bishop would light them up with the heavy gun. I'm going for 15, I told him. Don't interfere. Your funeral if you miss. I settled into position, controlling my breathing. The first infected was 200 yards out, shambling near a Humvee. Former soldier still wearing AC us. Didn't matter, not anymore. Breathe in, breathe out, squeeze. Even the rifle kicked, the infected dropped. Kill one. The others didn't react. No higher brain function meant they didn't understand cause and effect, made them easy to pick off systematically. Kill 2, woman in business clothes. Kill 3, teenager in a hoodie. Kill 4, elderly man with a walker. Kill 5, a child. I hesitated. 0.5 seconds, but I hesitated. You're slowing down, old man, Bishop said. Shut up, spotting. The kid couldn't have been more than 7 dropped. I didn't let myself think about it. Kill 6 through 10 went smooth. A mutant showed up on number 10. Bigger, faster, more aggressive than the standard infected. Took 2 shots instead of 1. Headshots were the only guarantee. 13 down, Bishop observed. You're almost there. That's when infected number 13 fell wrong, and the body hit a car hood loud enough to echo across the port. 20 yards away, a whole new group perked up. Fuck, I muttered. Bishop, you're up. Finally! Bishop grabbed the .50 caliber. Light 'em up! The heavy gun roared to life. Brrrt! Brass casings rained onto the fortress roof like angry hail. Bishop was laughing, actually laughing, while turning infected into red mist. You want some? Come get some! Conserve ammo, I yelled over the gunfire. We're about to raid a military convoy. We'll have plenty. He had a point. The .50 caliber did its job. 20 infected became 20 corpses in about 30 seconds. But the noise attracted more, another group shambling out from a nearby warehouse, including 2 runners. Runners were infected that had died recently enough to maintain full motor function. Fast, aggressive, and smart enough to be really dangerous. Runners, 3 o'clock, I called out. Bishop swung the gun. The first runner took 3 rounds center mass before the 4th caught its head. The second one got close enough that I had to switch to my M4 carbine. Too many, I said. Fall back, circle around. Bishop didn't argue. He knew when to push and when to retreat. That's what kept us alive. We dropped into the fortress, Bishop floored it, and we drove straight through the remaining infected. The cowcatcher worked perfectly. Bodies bounced off or went under the wheels. Efficient. We circled the block, waited 10 minutes, then came back. The convoy was clear. We had maybe 30 minutes before more infected showed up. Go time, I said. The haul was better than expected. 6 M4 rifles, 12 M9 pistols, cases of ammunition, and body armor, NVGs, medical supplies, and Bishop's personal favorite, an M240B machine gun with ammo. Christmas came early, he whooped, literally hugging the machine gun. Focus, keep loading. In the LMTV's truck bed, I found something interesting, a military case locked with classified markings. I picked the lock in 30 seconds. Army had taught me that. Inside, maps, marked with locations. Emergency supply cache, classified. One location was circled in red. Fort Lawton bunker, weapons. Bishop, look at this. He glanced over. Fort Lawton, that's Discovery Park. Underground bunker, Cold War era. I studied the map. The bunker was supposed to be decommissioned, but the marking was recent. Someone had been there after the outbreak started. And think there's anything good? Only one way to find out. We finished loading, took everything that wasn't bolted down and some things that were. As we drove away, I noticed Bishop's hands shaking slightly on the wheel. You good? I asked. Kid infected. Number 10 in your count. Couldn't have been more than 7. So he'd noticed my hesitation. Wasn't a kid anymore, I said. Was just infected. I know. Doesn't make it easier. No, it doesn't. We drove in silence for a while, then Bishop said, You want me to add it to my count instead? Even things out? No, I keep my count honest. He nodded slowly. That's what makes you better than me, hermano. We're the same, just different styles. Bullshit. You got a code. I just got reflexes. I didn't argue. Maybe he was right. Back at the depot, we unloaded everything and celebrated with whiskey. Bishop counted ammo while I updated my log. Total kills, 36, including one child aged approximately 7. I didn't write the kid's description, just the number. The radio crackled. This is Safe Zone Alpha, broadcasting on all frequencies. All survivors are advised to gather at the stadium. Government protection available. Repeat, government protection. Bishop looked at me. You believe that? No? You? Hell no, we're better off alone. Agreed. I looked at the map again. But the bunker might have answers. Or just more guns. Even better. We clinked glasses. Tomorrow we'd hit the bunker. Tonight we'd drink and pretend we didn't see the faces of the dead when we closed our eyes. It didn't work, but we tried anyway. Discovery Park was quiet. Too quiet. No birds. No squirrels, nothing. Just wind through dead trees and the distant sound of waves from Puget Sound. I don't like this, Bishop muttered, scanning the old military housing with his rifle. Feels like an ambush. Everything feels like an ambush to you. That's why I'm still alive. He had a point. We were looking for an entrance to Fort Lawton's bunker system. Cold War relics that were supposed to be sealed off decades ago. According to the map, the entrance was near the old parade ground, hidden under a collapsed building. It took us an hour to find it. A steel door, rusted but intact, with a combination lock that looked older than me. I can blow it, Bishop offered, already reaching for C4. And announce to every infected in Seattle that we're here? No. I knelt by the lock, studying it. This is military. Had they always used the same combinations? What, like 1, 2, 3, 4? Close. I tried the most common code. 0, 0, 0, 0. Click. Bishop stared. You're fucking kidding me. Lazy security happens all the time. I pulled the door open. Darkness beyond, and the smell of stale air. NVGs. We activated our night vision goggles, military grade from yesterday's convoy raid, and descended into the bunker. The corridor was long, concrete, reinforced. Signs on the walls, authorized personnel only. Munitions storage section B. Jackpot, Bishop whispered. The armory was massive, rows and rows of weapon racks stretching into darkness. I'd seen military armories before. This one was bigger than most. M16A4S, M4A1S, M24 sniper rifles, M107.50 caliber anti-material rifles, M110 SASS, M240B machine guns, M249 SAWs, pistols by the hundred, grenades, frag, e-smoke, flashbang, C4 explosives, and ammunition, pallets of it. Bishop was literally speechless. For 30 seconds he just stood there, mouth open. Then, I think I just came. Professionalism, Bishop. Fuck professionalism, look at this! He ran to an M107. This is a .50 caliber anti-material rifle. You can kill a tank with this, or a building, or a really big zombie. We call them infected. I call them targets. He was practically vibrating with excitement. Reaper, I love the apocalypse. I had to admit it was impressive. Enough weapons to outfit a small army, which raised the question, why was it still here? We can't take everything, I said. Need multiple trips. We should just move in, live here, fuck the depot. Too isolated, no escape routes if we get cornered. I started making a mental inventory. And we take essentials now, secure the location, come back for more. We loaded up, M24 and M110 sniper rifles for precision work. M240B machine gun because Bishop insisted. Grenades, ammo for our current weapons. C4, NVGs, tactical gear. This is like $2 million worth of equipment, Bishop said, loading the fortress. Was $2 million. Now it's priceless. Think anyone else knows about this place? Probably. That's why we're setting up security. I rigged the entrance with tripwire alarms while Bishop, because he was Bishop, planted C4 charges near the door with a dead man's switch. Anyone tries to breach, whole thing collapses, he explained. That's our stuff in there. Rather destroy it than let raiders have it. Sound logic, actually. We were halfway to the fortress when the motion sensors triggered. It infected, 15 of them drawn by our activity. The corridor became a kill zone. This is what I'm talking about. Bishop set up the M240B feeding belt ammunition. Cover your ears! Brrrt! The machine gun was obscenely loud in the confined space. Infected shredded like paper. Blood and bone fragments painted the concrete walls. Bishop was grinning like a maniac. Conserve ammo, I yelled. We have a bunker full. Let me have this. I couldn't really argue. We did have a bunker full. The drive back was triumphant. Bishop couldn't stop talking about the M107, the grenades, the possibilities. I was already planning our next operation. We can clear entire neighborhoods now, I said. Charge premium rates, Bishop added. Expand territory. Build an empire. We looked at each other. This was really happening. 2 weeks ago, we were just trying to survive. Now we were planning to become the biggest security contractor in post-apocalypse Seattle. We're really doing this, I said. Fuck yeah, we are. The radio crackled. Different frequency this time, civilian, local. Hello? Is anyone receiving? This is Maria Santos, representative for the Riverside apartment complex. We heard you're the guys who keep sectors clear. We need help. Our building is surrounded. We have supplies, but no way out. Bishop raised an eyebrow. I keyed the mic. This is Reaper. What's your payment? Pause. Then, we have a fuel truck, full tank, 2,000 gallons. Bishop and I exchanged looks. 2,000 gallons of diesel was enough to run the fortress and power the depot for months. We'll be there in 1 hour, I said. Stay inside. I don't open doors for anyone except us. Thank you, oh God, thank you so much. Click. 2,000 gallons, Bishop said. Our biggest job yet. How many infected, you think? I pulled up the thermal drone footage. Yes, we had a drone. Estimate 80 to 100. Just 100? I'm insulted. This is serious, Bishop. I'm being serious. After the bunker haul, this is going to be easy. Maybe. Or maybe we were getting cocky. I started planning the operation. Clear the infected, collect payment, establish long-term contract. Simple in theory, but combat never went according to plan. We geared up. Body armor, extra ammunition, grenades. Bishop took the M240B, said he wanted to break it in proper. Rules of engagement? I asked. Kill everything that moves? Except the clients. Right. He'd accept them. We fist bumped. A stupid gesture maybe, but it felt right. Let's go to work, I said. The fortress rumbled to life. Through the windshield, Seattle stretched out before us. Dead, burning, overrun. Our city now, our territory. We were the apex predators. And business was about to boom. The Riverside apartment complex was a 12-story building in what used to be Capitol Hill's nice section. Now it was surrounded by infected, shambling, moaning, clawing at the doors and first-floor windows. Through the thermal scope, I counted 83 distinct heat signatures. Close enough to my estimate. Phase 1, I said. We draw them out. Bishop grinned and activated the fortress's external speakers. Death metal blasted across the parking lot at maximum volume. Metallica's Master of Puppets. Appropriate. And the infected reacted immediately. Heads turned. Bodies shambled toward the sound. Simple stimulus response. No higher thinking required. We parked the fortress 100 yards from the building. Perfect killing field. The infected swarmed toward us like moths to a flame. Phase 2, I said. Bishop climbed onto the roof, manning the M240B. I stayed inside, monitoring the exits and calling out targets. 60 contacts and closing, I reported. Runners at 3 o'clock. I see 'em, Bishop aimed. Light showtime. The M240B opened up. Bert! Controlled bursts, sweeping across the infected horde. Heads exploded, bodies dropped. Brass casings rained onto the fortress roof like lethal confetti. Come get some! Bishop roared over the gunfire. I'd seen him like this before, in Fallujah, clearing buildings. He was in his element. If violence wasn't just his job, it was his art form. 3 o'clock, runners, I called out. Bishop pivoted the machine gun. The runners were fast. Former athletes, maybe, or just died recently enough to maintain muscle memory. They zigzagged between cars, trying to flank us. They didn't make it. Bishop cut them down with a sustained burst. 20 seconds of firing. 30 infected down. Cease fire, I ordered. Phase 3. The music died. The remaining infected scattered, disoriented. Time for precision work. I exited the fortress with my SR-25, switching to methodical headshots. One target at a time. Breathe, aim, squeeze. The infected didn't know they were being hunted until they were already dead. Kill 37, former UPS driver, brown uniform. Kill 38, teenager in a Seahawks jersey. Kill 39, woman in yoga pants. Kill 40, office worker, tie still knotted. I count 73, Bishop called down. 74, I corrected. One tried to hide behind a dumpster. Show off. The apartment residents emerged cautiously. 50 families, Maria had said. I saw mostly elderly people and children. The young and strong had either fled or died early. Maria Santos was mid-40s, former teacher with the commanding presence of someone who dealt with unruly 6th graders. She walked straight up to me, hand extended. You actually came. I shook it. We're professionals. Now about that fuel truck. She smiled slightly. Direct. I like that. It's in the parking garage. Protected. Bishop climbed down, still carrying the M240B. Several kids stared at him like he was a superhero. He winked at them. You two did all this? Maria asked, looking at the bodies. That's what you paid for, I said. Will you keep protecting us? That's a separate contract. She didn't flinch. Name your price. We negotiated in her apartment. 9th floor, good defensive position. Monthly protection. Supplies equivalent to 200 gallons of diesel. We'd clear infected weekly. Provide early warning of threats. But we wouldn't live there or get involved in community politics. Deal, Maria said. You've given us hope. We've given you time, Bishop corrected. Hope is on you. As we loaded the fuel truck into our convoy, motion sensors pinged. Not infected, human signatures. Armed. We're being observed, I said quietly. Bishop's hand drifted to his sidearm. I see them. Rooftop across the street. 6 contacts. All armed. Weapons? Rifles, military grade. A bullhorn crackled to life. Nice work, fellas. How about you share? I activated our external comms. This is our contract, our territory. Leave now. Or what? You'll shoot? We got numbers. Bishop raised the M240B suggestively. The voice laughed. I'm Crown. We run Capitol Hill. Heard about you two. The sanitizers. There was genuine amusement in his tone. Impressive operation, but you're in our expansion zone. Bullshit, Bishop muttered on our private channel. Let him talk, I replied. Crown continued. We can work together. You clear infected, we manage survivors. 60-40 split, we get 60. Fuck that, Bishop said over the open channel. I shot him a look. To Crown. Give us 24 hours, we'll consider your offer. Smart. And we'll be in touch. The armed group melted away. Professional. Organized. Not random raiders. Maria approached, worried. They're not good people, they extort, they steal, they hurt people who don't comply. We know their type, I said. Will you fight them? I looked at Bishop. He shrugged. Back to Maria. Depends on the price. That night at the depot, we assessed. We should have shot them, Bishop said, cleaning the M240B. 6 now. How many in their whole gang? Don't know. Exactly. Intel first, killing second. You're no fun. I'm alive. That's more fun than dead. We used our drone, thermal imaging, silent approach. Found the King's headquarters, a former police station, ironic. Count 30-plus members, 2 armored trucks, motorcycles, military-style organization with clear chain of command. Yes, these aren't raiders, I said. They're paramilitaries. So what's the play? We negotiate from strength. I sent a message. Meeting. Pike Place Market. Neutral ground. Tomorrow noon. 2 representatives each. No weapons. They agreed. You really going unarmed? Bishop asked. I said no weapons. I didn't say no backup. He grinned. I like where this is going. I pulled up the market map. Overwatch position here, 400 yards. You'll have clear line of sight with the SR-25. If it goes south, drop their leader first. Then we extract under covering fire. With pleasure. We spent the rest of the night preparing. This was the kind of operation we'd trained for. High-stakes negotiation backed by lethal force. The difference was our targets used to be Taliban. Now they were Americans. Didn't change the tactics, even though survival was survival. Pike Place Market looked like a ghost town. Abandoned stalls, rotting produce, seagulls, the only living things beside us picking at God knows what. I walked in alone, supposedly. 400 yards away, Bishop was on a rooftop with the SR-25, watching through his scope. He could drop a target at this range while eating a sandwich. I'd seen him do it. Crown arrived with 1 lieutenant, big guy, 40-something, with Marine Corps tattoos visible on his forearms. I recognized the insignia, 2nd Battalion, same as Bishop. You actually came alone? Crown asked. As agreed. You? I keep my word. Pause. Usually. We both knew we were lying. Somewhere up high, Crown had a sniper too. This was just professional courtesy, pretending we weren't ready to kill each other. Let's talk business, I said, and Crown pulled out a map marked with territory divisions. We control Capitol Hill. You control Sodo and Georgetown. We split downtown neutral zone. Jobs in neutral zone. We split payment 50-50. No interference in each other's territory. What about conflicts? We settle like professionals. No civilian casualties if we can help it. We're not animals. I studied the map. We don't work for you. We work with you. Equal partnership. I have more men. We have better shooters. I keyed my comms. Bishop, you hear me? Crystal clear. His voice crackled. See that infected? 450 yards moving behind that fish stall? Got him. To Crown. Watch. Crack. The infected's head exploded. Crown's lieutenant jumped, hand going to his concealed weapon. Crown held up a hand, impressed despite himself. "Zur nice shot. We have 3 more snipers positioned," I lied. "All on your men." Crown studied me, then laughed. "You're lying, but I can't prove it without risking my people." He extended his hand. "Partners, equal split." "One condition," I said, shaking it. "You touch our clients, deals off." "Same goes for mine. We hammered out details, territory divisions, communication protocols, trade agreements. We had weapons, they had food networks, joint operations for major infected clearances. There's something else, Crown said. Military's back, setting up quarantine zones. They're not friendly to independent operators like us. Meaning? Meaning they'll want to shut us down, confiscate our weapons, call us warlords or insurgents or whatever justifies their power grab. I'd seen this before in Iraq, Afghanistan. The military never trusted local forces, even allied ones. We might need to cooperate against them too, Crown continued, one problem at a time. Fair enough, Crown stood. For the record, I only had 2 snipers. I only had 1, we both laughed. The kind of laugh warriors share when they've successfully avoided killing each other. We're gonna make a lot of money together, Crown said. Or die trying. That's the spirit. Over the next 2 weeks, business boomed. 5 neighborhoods under protection. Regular supply income. We hired 4 more shooters, all ex-military, all vetted. Bishop started calling it an empire. I called it survival. Then the government showed up. Colonel Anderson arrived with a full military escort. 20 soldiers, 2 Humvees, enough firepower to level the depot if they wanted. Impressive operation you've built, Anderson said. Clean uniform, parade ground posture. Lifer officer. We're consolidating survivor groups. We want you to join us. Work under government authority. Legal immunity, military support, the works. What's the catch? I asked. You surrender all weapons to federal control. Operate only under our orders. Bishop laughed. That's a hard no. Anderson's expression hardened. I was hoping you'd cooperate. We prefer independence, I said. Independence has consequences, Mr. Wolf. He stood. You have 48 hours to reconsider. After that, we'll have to treat you as hostile insurgents. And you know how that ends. After they left, Bishop was pacing. Let them come. We've got a bunker full of weapons. Against the U.S. military, we'd last a day, maybe 2. So what's the play? I'd been thinking about this. We need leverage, something they want more than our compliance. Like what? Information about the outbreak origin. If we can prove government negligence. Blackmail? Insurance. The radio crackled. Emergency broadcast. Attention. Mutant outbreak in University District. Multiple casualties. All units respond. Bishop and I looked at each other. University District, I said. That's where the outbreak started. UW Medical Center. So we go investigate? We go investigate. Because if the government was involved in creating this nightmare, proof was worth more than gold. It was worth our lives. University District looked like hell's waiting room. Cars piled up in intersections, buildings burned out, bodies everywhere, some fresh enough to attract flies, in others old enough to be part of the landscape. Remind me why we're doing this? Bishop asked, navigating the fortress around a crashed bus. Because knowledge is leverage. I preferred when our job was just shooting zombies. Infected. Whatever. Dead fuckers trying to eat us. UW Medical Center loomed ahead, a massive complex that had probably saved thousands of lives before the outbreak. Now it was a tomb, and according to the reports, it was full of mutants. We'd encountered mutants before. Standard infected were predictable, shambling, attracted to noise, easy to kite and kill. Mutants were different, faster, stronger. Some showed problem-solving skills. We'd killed one last week that had figured out how to open doors. Can't drive in, I said, checking thermal imaging. Too many contacts, in too many unknowns. So we walk into the zombie hospital, infected hospital. And yes, Bishop sighed, I hate you sometimes. No, you don't. No, I don't. We geared up for close quarters. SR-25 suppressed for me, M4 carbine backup. Bishop took his M4 and a sawed-off shotgun he'd been working on, plus C4 because Bishop always brought C4. Objective, Lab Level 3, I said, reviewing the building layout. Find research data. Get out alive. That last part's my favorite. Moving through the hospital was like walking through a nightmare. Emergency lighting cast everything in red. Blood on the walls, handprints, drag marks, bodies in white coats. The infected were dormant, seeking shade from the daytime heat. We moved quietly, carefully. Standard room clearing. I'd enter first, check corners. In Bishop would follow, watching R6. Third floor, nothing. Fourth floor, nothing. Stairwell down to the research levels. Something moved in my peripheral vision. I spun, rifle up. Nothing there, just shadows. Reaper, Bishop whispered. Thought I saw something. Your spidey sense tingling? Yeah? Then we move faster. Lab Level 3 was accessed through a ventilation shaft. The doors were sealed from inside. We crawled through ductwork that smelled like death and antiseptic. The lab was pristine. Emergency power kept it running, terminals active. In a world of chaos, this room was ordered, sterile, wrong. I approached the main terminal. Military cyber training kicked in, bypassing passwords, accessing files. Everything was marked Project Lazarus classified. This is fucked up, Bishop said, reading over my shoulder. And the files spelled it out. Not an accidental outbreak. Intentional. Government-funded research into controlled reanimation. They'd been trying to create soldiers who couldn't die. Patient 0, Lieutenant Marcus Webb, Marine Corps. Volunteered for the program. They'd killed him, then brought him back, then lost control. They made this, Bishop said quietly. The government fucking made this. Video logs showed recent activity. Post-outbreak. Military scientists in hazmat suits collecting samples, taking infected specimens, running tests. They're still studying it, I said. Weaponizing it. I downloaded everything to an encrypted drive. This was what we needed. This was leverage. The download finished. Then the terminal beeped. Alert sent. Oh, that's not good, Bishop said. Facility lockdown initiated. Red lights flashed. And from deeper in the complex, something roared. Not a human sound, not an infected sound, something else. Run, I said, now. The mutants came from everywhere, not shambling, coordinated. 3 of them, one with elongated arms, one with an enlarged skull, one hunched with exposed spinal mutations, all fast, all deadly. Bishop started shooting. What the actual fuck? I threw a grenade, buying us seconds. We sprinted for the ventilation shaft. Behind us, claws on tile. Ahead, more infected pouring from side rooms. We fought through, short bursts, headshots, keep moving. Bishop threw another grenade. The explosion brought down part of the ceiling, slowing pursuit, but not stopping it. The shaft! I yelled. We scrambled up. One mutant, the one with long arms, grabbed Bishop's leg. He screamed, kicked, and shot it point blank with the shotgun. It let go. We climbed. Below, the mutants followed. Bishop planted C4 on the shaft wall. Go! He yelled, just go! I climbed faster. He followed. When we were 20 feet up, boom! The explosion collapsed the shaft. We fell, crashing through into an upper floor. Pain exploded in my shoulder, dislocated, maybe broken. Bishop's leg was bent wrong. Infected were still coming. Can you walk? I asked. Can you? Good enough. I dragged Bishop the last 50 yards to the fortress. We collapsed inside, locked the doors. Infected slammed against the armor. I hit the gas. The fortress plowed through them, reached the street, kept driving. At the depot, our medic, former army, hired last week, took one look and whistled. You boys look like shit. Feel worse, Bishop groaned. And I need to set that leg, the medic said. Compound fracture. Do it, I said. You're not a surgeon. Combat medic training. It's set bone or amputation. Your choice. Bishop looked at me. Fuck my life. 2 hours of improvised surgery. Bishop screaming into a leather strap. Whiskey for anesthetic, sutures I'd pulled from a medical kit. By the end, we were both covered in blood. But the leg was set. While Bishop passed out from pain, I reviewed the files. Worse than I'd thought. Government had known the outbreak would happen. Planned it as a controlled exposure test in Seattle. Isolated city. Containment possible. Civilian population expendable. They had a vaccine. Experimental but functional. Only for essential personnel. Everyone else could die. My hands shook with rage. Crown showed up the next morning. He heard about our mission through the grapevine. You look like shit, he said. I showed him the files. Holy fucking shit. Now we have leverage. Or a death sentence. Same thing, I said. Depending on how we play it. What's your plan? We go public. Broadcast this to every survivor group. Ham radio still works. Government won't dare move against us if everyone knows. And if they do anyway? I chambered a round in my pistol. Then we make them pay. Crown nodded slowly. I'm in. Full support, whatever you need. Good. Because this is war now. Always was, Crown said. We just didn't know it. Crown brought his entire leadership to the depot. 8 people, all ex-military, all with the same look in their eyes. The look that said they'd seen some shit and weren't impressed by more shit. Here's this better be worth it, one of them said. Former Army officer by the posture. I plugged the encrypted drive into our ham radio setup. Bishop had rigged this network weeks ago. Long-range transmission, multiple frequencies, encrypted channels. We could reach every survivor group in Seattle, maybe beyond. It's worth it, I said, pulling up the files on a laptop. Project Lazarus. Government program to create reanimated soldiers. They tested it in Seattle. Patient 0 was a Marine volunteer. The outbreak wasn't an accident, it was a field test. Silence. Then someone laughed. That's fucking insane. That's the evidence. I showed them the video logs, military scientists, test subjects, data showing they knew exactly what would happen. The laughter died. They have a vaccine, I continued. Experimental but functional, and they've had it from the beginning, only distributed to essential personnel. Everyone else was expendable. Motherfuckers, Crown said quietly. We're broadcasting this, I said. Every survivor group, every frequency. Make it impossible for them to suppress. They'll kill us, the Army officer said. They're going to kill us anyway, Bishop called from his cot, still recovering. At least this way, we take them down with us. Crown looked at his people. Vote. We do this. We're declaring war on the federal government. Show of hands. Every hand went up. Democracy in action, I said. Let's burn this motherfucker down. The broadcast went out at 1800 hours. I read the evidence dry, factual, letting the data speak for itself. Bishop had recorded video testimony, both of us explaining what we'd found, showing the files. I'm providing context. This is Axel Wolf, call sign Reaper, former 2nd Ranger Battalion. The outbreak in Seattle was not an accident. It was a government weapons test. I have evidence. I'm sharing it now. To every survivor listening, they knew. They let this happen. And they have a cure they're not sharing. I transmitted everything. Files, videos, proof. Within an hour, the response started coming in. Other survivor groups confirming the broadcast, spreading the word. Some calling us heroes, others calling us terrorists. Didn't matter, truth was out. Colonel Anderson showed up 2 hours later with 50 soldiers. You just made a very big mistake, he said through our external comms. Only mistake was trusting you'd do the right thing, I replied. You have 1 hour to surrender. After that, we're coming in. We'll be waiting. Anderson left. But I could see it in his eyes. This wasn't negotiable anymore. We'd crossed a line. Crown and his people stayed, reinforcing positions, setting up firing lanes. We had the bunker weapons now, enough firepower to hold off a company if we were smart about it. "This is gonna get ugly," Crown said, checking his rifle. "It was always gonna get ugly," I replied. "This way, at least everyone knows why." Bishop managed to limp over, leaning on a crutch. "I'm not missing this. You can barely walk. I can shoot fine." He patted his rifle. "And if they want to arrest us, they're gonna have to kill us first." That was the truth of it. We'd been killers our whole adult lives. Army made us that way. The apocalypse just removed the rules. And now we were fighting the people who'd created this nightmare. Seemed fitting. The hour passed. Then Anderson's voice came over the loudspeaker. "Last chance to surrender." I keyed our external comms. "Wolverines." Bishop started laughing. "Did you just quote Red Dawn? Seemed appropriate? You're such a fucking nerd." The first shot came from their side. Warning shot, probably. But it was all we needed. Crown gave the order. "Light them up." The depot erupted in gunfire. We'd prepared well. Overlapping fields of fire, reinforced positions, the high ground. Military training versus military force. It was going to be a long night, but we'd gone public. The information was out there. Whatever happened to us, the truth would survive. That had to be enough. The first assault came at 0200 hours, professional, coordinated. And they used flashbangs to disorient us, smoke grenades for cover, and breaching charges on the south wall. Problem was, we'd expected all of that. "South wall breach," Crown called out. Bishop was already there with the M240B. The moment soldiers poured through the hole, he opened up. Brrrr. The machine gun turned the breach into a kill zone. "Come on!" Bishop roared over the gunfire. "Is that all you got?" "Conserve ammo," I yelled, dropping 2 soldiers with my SR-25 from the second floor. Headshots. Clean. They went down and stayed down. This was wrong. Shooting Americans. Shooting soldiers. But they'd made their choice and we'd made ours. The assault lasted 15 minutes. They pulled back, leaving 6 bodies. We'd lost one of Crown's people, guy named Martinez, former Marine. Good shooter. Casualties are acceptable," Crown said, checking Martinez's pulse out of habit. "Already dead." "They'll come again. Harder." He was right. The second assault came at 0430. This time they brought a .50 caliber, started punching holes in our defenses. We responded with grenades and concentrated fire. Bishop took a round to his body armor. Cracked ribs knocked him flat. He was up 30 seconds later, still shooting. "You good?" I called. "Peachy." He winced. "Fucking hurts, though." We held them off. Barely. Lost 2 more of Crown's people. Our ammunition was running low. "We can't sustain this," Crown said during a lull. "They've got infinite reinforcements. We don't." "So what's the play?" Bishop asked, breathing hard. I'd been thinking about that. "We evacuate. Hit them mobile. Our guerrilla warfare. Abandon the depot. It's concrete and steel. We can rebuild anywhere, but we can't fight if we're dead." Crown looked around at what we'd built, then nodded. "All right. We bug out. Where to?" "The bunker. Fort Lawton. Defensible, supplied, they don't know about it yet." "How do we get there with 50 soldiers outside?" I smiled. "We use the bunker weapons. All of them." Bishop's eyes lit up. "Everything?" "Everything." We loaded the fortress and Crown's trucks with weapons from our depot stash. The good news about prepping for the apocalypse: we had escape plans. Tunnel system leading to a storm drain, exit point 3 blocks away. The bad news: we had to collapse the depot behind us. Couldn't let them have our supplies. Bishop set the charges while we evacuated the wounded, C4 on support columns. Ain't enough to bring the whole building down. This hurts, he said, looking around. This was home. Home is where your weapons are, I said, and we've got a bunker full. We evacuated through the tunnel at 0600 just as Anderson launched his third assault. They breached the walls, poured into the depot, found it mostly empty. Then Bishop triggered the charges. The explosion could be heard across Seattle. The depot collapsed in on itself, burying the breach teams and most of Anderson's forward elements. We watched from 3 blocks away, smoke rising, building fallen, our home destroyed. War's officially started, Crown said. War started weeks ago, I corrected. We just stopped pretending. We drove to Fort Lawton in convoy. 6 vehicles, 30 people, everything we could carry. And the bunker entrance was still secure, my tripwires untouched, Bishop's C4 still armed. Welcome to our new home, I said, opening the door. Inside, weapons, ammunition, supplies enough for months. We set up defensive positions, established patrol routes, created a command center. Crown found me later that night. I was updating the kill log. 43 total now, 6 of them Americans. You keeping count? He asked. Always. Does it help? No, I closed the log. But it's honest. We killed our own people today. They stopped being our people when they chose to cover up genocide. I looked at him. You having second thoughts? No, just processing. He sat down. How'd we get here? 2 weeks ago, we were just trying to survive. Now we're insurgents fighting the U.S. military. They made this choice, and not us. Doesn't make it easier. No, I agreed, it doesn't. But easy had never been part of the job description. Living on the run changed everything. We couldn't hold territory anymore, had to stay mobile, hit fast, disappear. Classic guerrilla tactics. Our first operation, rescue mission. Military had rounded up survivors from 3 neighborhoods, forcing them into quarantine zones. Really just labor camps. 60 civilians, I said, studying drone footage. 20 soldiers guarding them. We go in quiet, extract who we can. And the soldiers? Crown asked. Non-lethal if possible, they're just following orders. Bishop snorted. That defense didn't work at Nuremberg. Still gonna try. I looked at him. We're not murderers. We killed 6 of them last week. That was combat. This is different. If you say so. The operation went down at 0300. We cut the power, used night vision to move through the camp. Bolt cutters on the fences, quiet extraction. We got 42 civilians out before someone sounded the alarm. The remaining 18 ran the wrong direction, toward the soldiers instead of away. Abort, I called. Fall back. We got out clean. No casualties on our side. The soldiers never even saw us. But I kept thinking about those 18 people we'd left behind. Can't save everyone, Crown said. Doesn't mean I stopped trying. We did 3 more rescues over the next week. Pulled out 70 civilians total. Set them up in hidden safe houses across the city. Built a network. The military response was predictable. They cracked down harder, more checkpoints, more patrols. He shoot on sight orders for armed insurgents, which meant us. We're making things worse, one of Crown's lieutenants said. They're terrorizing people because of us. They were already terrorizing people, I said. We just gave them an excuse. But the doubt was there. Were we helping or hurting? The answer came during our 4th rescue op. Military had rounded up a group of survivors, including kids. Plans to relocate them to a facility outside the city. We hit the convoy. Quick ambush, disabled the trucks, extracted the prisoners. One of the soldiers, young kid, maybe 20, recognized me. You're Reaper. You're the one who leaked the Lazarus files. I didn't respond, just kept moving. Thank you, he said. My sister was in Seattle when it started. She died because they wouldn't give her the vaccine. It's so thank you. He dropped his weapon, walked away. 2 other soldiers did the same. Guess we're making a difference, Bishop said. Maybe. Or maybe we were just creating more chaos in an already chaotic world. But we kept going, because stopping meant accepting what they'd done. And I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. The network grew. Other survivor groups joined our cause. Started calling us the Resistance, which sounded dramatic but fit. We weren't just surviving anymore, we were fighting. And then we got a message, encrypted, routed through 6 proxies, from someone calling herself Dr. Sarah Reeves. I worked on Project Lazarus. I have information you need, and I need protection. They're hunting me. Bishop looked at me. Could be a trap. Could be, I agreed. But if she's real, she might have the cure. And if she's not real, then we die. But we'd probably die anyway. Crown organized the meet. Neutral ground. Maximum security. We came armed, ready for anything. Dr. Reeves showed up alone. Mid-40s, exhausted, carrying a laptop like it was the most valuable thing in the world. Maybe it was. I have the vaccine formula, she said. Complete, tested, functional. I can produce it. But I need lab equipment and protection from the military kill teams. Why should we trust you, I asked. Because I helped create this nightmare and I'm trying to fix it. She met my eyes. I can't undo what I did, but I can save who's left. I studied her, looking for the lie, didn't find one. You're under our protection, I said, but you fuck us over, I'll kill you myself. Fair enough. We had a scientist, even we had a cause, we had a vaccine formula. Now we just had to survive long enough to use it. Dr. Sarah Reeves set up her lab in a section of the bunker we'd cleared out. Watching her work was like watching an artist, precise, focused, completely absorbed. The vaccine is RNA-based, she explained while preparing samples. It teaches the immune system to recognize and destroy the Lazarus virus before it can take hold. But it only works on people who haven't been infected yet. What about people who are infected? Bishop asked. They're dead. The virus kills the host, then reanimates the body. There's no consciousness left to save. What about the mutants? I asked. She paused. The mutants are different. The radiation exposure altered the virus's behavior. Some hosts' immune systems partially resist, creating a hybrid state. They're alive but changing. Can you cure them? I don't know. Maybe. But I'd need fresh samples to study. Bishop and I exchanged looks. Getting close enough to a mutant to take samples without dying would be a challenge. We'll get what you need, I said. Over the next week, Sarah worked non-stop. She was driven by guilt. I recognized it. Same look I saw in the mirror when I thought about the people I hadn't saved. You can't blame yourself, I told her one night. I helped create a bioweapon that ended civilization. Why can't I blame myself? Because guilt doesn't fix anything. Action does. She smiled slightly. Is that military wisdom? That's survivor wisdom. Military just taught me how to kill things. And how many have you killed? I didn't answer. But she saw the log on my desk, saw the number, 47. You keep count, she said, always. Does it help? No, but it's honest. She understood. We were both carrying bodies that wouldn't stay buried. The military found us 3 days later. Not the bunker, our safe house network. They hit 5 locations simultaneously, arrested 30 people. They're getting better intelligence, Crown said. Someone's talking. Or they're monitoring radio transmissions, I suggested. We tightened security, went dark on communications, only in-person meetings. But the military was adapting too. They brought in special forces, operators who knew how to fight insurgencies. Guys like us, basically. The war escalated. Then the mutants evolved. We started getting reports of coordinated attacks, mutants working together using tactics. One group in Capitol Hill had set up an ambush, actual planning, not random aggression. They're getting smarter, Bishop said, reviewing the footage. Or something's organizing them, I replied. Sarah confirmed our fears. The virus is learning. Every generation of infected shows increased neural activity. It's evolving resistance to our tactics. Can they communicate? Crown asked. Possibly. The enlarged skull variants we've seen might be developing specialized functions, like a hive mind. Fucking great, Bishop muttered. Smart zombies. Not zombies, Sarah corrected. Infected hosts with retained neural plasticity allowing for smart zombies, Bishop repeated. 3 days later, a new variant appeared. Fast, silent, hunted in packs. They'd learn to avoid our kill zones, flank our positions, target our weakest defenses. We named them hunters. And they were hunting us. We can't fight 2 wars, Crown said after we lost 5 people to a hunter pack. Military on one side, mutants on the other. We're getting crushed. He was right. We needed allies. I made the call I'd been avoiding. Colonel Anderson, this is Reaper. We need to talk. Anderson met us at neutral ground, an abandoned church in what used to be Fremont. He came with 2 guards. We brought Bishop and Crown. You wanted to talk, Anderson said. Talk. The mutants are evolving, I said directly. Coordinated attacks, pack tactics, intelligence. We can't fight them and you simultaneously. Not my problem. It's everyone's problem. They're not stopping at Seattle. Virus is spreading. Every infected person becomes a potential mutant. You've seen the reports. Anderson's jaw tightened. He had seen them. What are you proposing? Temporary ceasefire, joint operations against the mutant threat. We share intelligence. After the mutants are controlled, we can go back to trying to kill each other. You really think I'd trust you? No. But I think you're smart enough to prioritize threats. Mutants are evolving faster than we can adapt. In a month, they'll overrun the safe zones. In 2 months, Seattle's lost. In 3, the whole West Coast. Bishop added, plus we have Dr. Reeves. She knows the virus better than anyone. You want to fight mutants effectively? You need her expertise. Anderson considered. Military strategy versus political orders. I'd seen officers make this choice before. Limited cooperation, he said finally. We share intel on mutant movements, coordinate major operations, but you're still wanted for terrorism, in theft of military property and about 40 other charges. We'll worry about that later, I said, if there is a later. We shook hands, felt wrong, allying with the people who'd caused all this. But survival made strange bedfellows. The first joint operation was a disaster. Military wanted to clear a mutant nest in the University District, same area where I'd found the Lazarus files. Intel said 30 mutants, mixed variants. Intel was wrong. There were over 100, and they were waiting. It's a trap, Crown shouted as mutants poured from every direction. The hunters came first, fast, coordinated, targeting our heavy weapons operators. Then the brutes, massive, armored, shrugging off small arms fire. Finally the screamers calling more infected. We fought hard. Military had better equipment. We had better tactics. Together, and we held the line. Barely. We lost 12 soldiers, 7 of Crown's people. Bishop took a hunter claw to his already injured leg, reopened the wound, made it worse. But we won. Cleared the nest. Found something disturbing inside. Eggs. Or something like eggs. Organic sacs. Human-sized, growing new variants. They're breeding, Sarah said, horrified. The virus has made them capable of reproduction. That's impossible, Anderson said. So was reanimating corpses. The virus is adapting faster than any pathogen in recorded history. It's weaponized evolution. We burned the eggs, all of them. Cleansed the nest with fire and high explosives. But Sarah's analysis was clear. There were more nests. Dozens, maybe. All across Seattle. We need to find the prime nest, she said. The source, where the mutations are most concentrated. I'd destroy that, we might stop the evolution. Where? I asked. She pulled up a map. Here. The radiation research facility north of the city, where the original exposure happened. If there's a prime nest, it's there. I looked at the location. Heavy mutant concentration. Probably hundreds of them. We'd need everyone, I said. Military, our people, everything we've got. Anderson nodded slowly. I'll authorize it, full assault. But if we survive this, the ceasefire ends. You're still fugitives. If we don't survive, doesn't matter much. Fair point. We had 3 days to prepare. 3 days to gear up for the biggest operation since the outbreak started. 3 days before we assaulted hell itself. Bishop found me cleaning weapons the night before the assault. You scared? He asked, terrified. Good. Me too. He sat down. You know one of us isn't coming back from this. Probably. If it's me, don't, I cut him off. We both come back, that's the plan. Plans change, Hermano, just, if it's me, make sure it counts, make sure it meant something. I looked at my best friend, the guy who'd saved my life a dozen times, who made bad jokes and worse decisions and was loyal to a fault. It'll mean something, I promised. He nodded, satisfied. Tomorrow we'd find out who kept their promise. The assault force assembled at dawn. 50 military personnel, 30 of our fighters, Crown's entire organization. Over 100 people armed with everything from the bunker. Largest operation since D-Day, Bishop joked, checking his rifle. His leg was wrapped tight. He could walk, barely, but he'd insisted on coming. D-Day succeeded, I pointed out. And so will this. Probably. Maybe. I'm like 60% confident. The radiation research facility was 10 miles north of Seattle. Pre-outbreak, it had been a cutting-edge lab studying nuclear medicine. Post-outbreak, it was ground zero for mutations. The approach was quiet, too quiet. No infected visible, no mutants. I don't like this, Crown muttered. Nobody likes this, I replied. But we're committed. Anderson's drones showed heat signatures inside the facility, lots of them, concentrated in the lower levels where the radiation leak had occurred. Breach teams ready, Anderson ordered. Reaper, your people take the east entrance. Crown, west. We'll hit from the main doors. Converge on the lower levels. Clear everything. Simple plan. Probably wouldn't survive contact with the enemy, but it was a plan. And we breached simultaneously. East entrance was clear, no resistance, too clear. We moved through corridors toward the stairs. That's when they hit us. Hunters dropped from ceiling vents. Stalkers came through walls, literally through walls, smashing concrete. Brutes charged from deeper in the facility. Contact! I yelled, opening fire. The SR-25 was perfect for this. Precision shots in chaos. I dropped 3 hunters before switching to my M4 for close quarters. Bishop had the M240B, laying down suppressing fire. Just like old times. Old times didn't have zombies. Infected. Sarah's voice came over comms. She was with the medical team, supposedly safe. They're infected. Shut up and shoot. We fought floor by floor. Every room was a battle. Every corridor a kill zone. The mutants weren't just defending. They were coordinating. Herding us toward the lower levels. It's a trap, I realized. There. An explosion rocked the building. Main entrance collapsed. Anderson's team is cut off, Crown called over comms. We were separated. Exactly what the mutants wanted. Keep pushing down, I ordered. We find the prime nest, we destroy it. That's the mission. Lower level 3, the radiation containment area. We breached the door. Inside was a nightmare. The prime nest wasn't a location. It was an organism. Massive, organic, covering the entire floor. Eggs everywhere, hundreds of them. And in the center, something that had been human once. Patient Zero. Lieutenant Marcus Webb. The Marine who'd volunteered for Project Lazarus. But he'd evolved, grown, become something else entirely. Part of the nest, controlling it. And controlling all the mutants through some kind of hive network. Jesus Christ, Bishop whispered. Webb's head turned toward us. Despite everything, his eyes were still human, still aware. Kill me, he rasped. Light it up, I ordered. We threw everything we had, grenades, C4, incendiary rounds. The nest burned, eggs bursting in the heat. Webb screamed in pain or relief, I couldn't tell. The mutants went berserk. With Webb dying, they lost coordination, became feral again, dangerous but predictable. We fought our way out, lost 20 people doing it, found Anderson's team trapped on level 2, rescued them. The facility was collapsing, structural damage from the fire. We had minutes. Everyone out, Anderson ordered. We ran, mutants chasing, building falling, fire everywhere. He made it to the vehicles just as the facility collapsed completely. Buried everything, the nest, Webb, the eggs, all of it. We'd won. Bishop collapsed in the fortress, blood soaking through his leg bandage. Medic, I yelled. Sarah was there immediately, checked the wound, her face said it all. The infection's spreading. Not the virus, sepsis, from the hunter claw 3 days ago. I need to amputate or he'll die. Bishop looked at me. Well, fuck. Do it, I said. Axel, do it. You're not dying because of a claw scratch. Sarah prepared, right there in the fortress with medical supplies from our kit. Bishop bit down on a leather strap. Took her 30 minutes. Bishop passed out after 10. When it was over, he was alive, but missing everything below the right knee. He'll live, Sarah said. Prosthetic can replace function. He'll walk again. Will he fight again? She met my eyes. Do you want the truth or the comforting lie? Truth. Probably not. Not like before. I looked at Bishop's unconscious form. My best friend. My brother. The guy who'd watched my back through 3 tours and an apocalypse. Crippled. Because I'd brought him on this mission. It's not your fault, Sarah said, reading my thoughts. Feels like it. Feelings aren't facts. She was right, but it didn't help. Anderson found me later. We were pulling out, heading back to separate bases. Ceasefire was over. You did good work today, he said. We killed Patient Zero, destroyed the prime nest. Virus evolution should slow. Might even stop, according to Dr. Reeves. He paused. Doesn't change anything between us. You're still wanted. Figured as much. But, officially, I never saw you today. Takes time to process battlefield reports. You have a head start. I studied him, understanding passing between soldiers. Appreciate it. Don't thank me. I'm still going to hunt you, just not today. Fair enough. We drove back to the bunker. Bishop woke up halfway there, looked at his missing leg, laughed bitterly. Guess I'm retiring from the apocalypse. Guess so. Axel? Yeah? It meant something, right? Today. All of it. I thought about Webb, about the nest, about the infection we'd stopped from spreading further. Yeah, it meant something. He closed his eyes. Good enough. But I kept thinking, how much more would we have to lose before this was over? 3 weeks after the nest assault, we learned the hard way that killing Patient Zero didn't kill the mutations, and it just made them evolve differently. The new variant appeared in Capitol Hill, smaller than the others, faster, more intelligent. It studied us. That thing's been watching our patrol routes, one of Crown's scouts reported, following our people, learning. We called them stalker alphas, pack leaders, and they were hunting hunters. The first attack came at night. 4-man patrol, all experienced shooters. They vanished without firing a shot. We found the bodies 3 days later, surgical kills. Throats slashed, weapons untouched. They're not eating them, I observed. They're sending a message, Crown said. Second attack, 6-man team, same result, clean kills, no struggle. It's targeting our best people, Bishop said from his wheelchair. He'd been working on designs for a prosthetic, refusing to accept his new limitations. "Ooh, how do you know?" I asked. "Because it's what I'd do. Take out the threats first, then the weak fall easy." He was right. The stalker alphas were studying our tactics, identifying our leaders, systematically eliminating our best fighters. We were being hunted by something that learned from every encounter. "We need to change tactics," I said. "Stop being predictable." "How?" Crown asked. "We have patrol routes, supply runs, defense patterns. Everything we do is predictable because it has to be organized. So we organize chaos." I pulled up a map. Random patrols, no schedules, different routes every time. Never repeat a pattern. That's inefficient. Being dead is more inefficient. We implemented the changes. For 2 weeks it worked. No attacks, no casualties. Then the Stalker Alpha adapted. It started attacking our supply lines instead, hitting convoys between safe houses, cutting off resources, starving us out. "Fuck," Bishop said, reviewing the reports. "This thing's smarter than most people I know." "Can we track it?" I asked Sarah. "Maybe, if I could get a sample, study its neural patterns." She trailed off. "You'd have to capture one alive. Or wounded enough to get close," I said. Bishop and I exchanged looks. "You're thinking what I'm thinking," he said. "Bait trap. Use ourselves as bait." "That's insane. You got a better idea?" He didn't. We set it up carefully, made it look like a routine patrol. Me, Bishop in a transport vehicle, 2 other shooters. Predictable route through Capitol Hill. The Stalker Alpha took the bait, and it hit us at the ambush point we'd chosen. A choke point where Crown's team was hidden in buildings on both sides. The Alpha went for me first, recognizing the threat. But I was ready. I dodged, Bishop opened fire from the vehicle, and Crown's team lit it up from concealment. The Alpha tried to flee, took rounds to both legs, went down. We had it. Sarah worked fast, took blood samples, tissue samples, neural readings. The Alpha was dying but alive enough for analysis. "Incredible," she breathed. "Its brain structure is when it's completely reorganized. The virus isn't just reanimating, it's improving cognitive function. This thing is smarter than it was when human." "Can you kill it?" I asked. "The virus or the host?" "Both." She studied her readings. "The virus, yes. The host, I'd have to try." She tried. Experimental treatment. I adapted from the vaccine, injected it directly into the Alpha's bloodstream. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the Alpha convulsed, screamed, its eyes cleared, actual consciousness returning. "Help!" it gasped. "Please help me!" It was a woman, had been a woman, was becoming one again. "What's your name?" Sarah asked gently. Jennifer Hayes, teacher. Oh God, what did I do?" She remembered everything, every person she'd killed while under the virus's control. "It's okay," Sarah said. "You're safe now." Jennifer's eyes widened in horror. Then blood poured from her nose, her eyes, her ears. The virus fought back. Her body couldn't handle the conflict. She died screaming. Sarah sat back, shaken. "The cure works, but only on early infections. Once it reaches this stage, the neural damage is too extensive." "So everyone who's already turned is dead," Bishop said. "Yes." We'd lost the chance to save anyone. The vaccine only prevented infection, couldn't reverse it. "Then we focus on prevention," I said. "Protect who's left. Let the infected die out. Over the next month, we implemented a new strategy. Defensive perimeters, strict quarantine protocols. Anyone bitten was isolated immediately. It was brutal, but necessary. The Stalker Alpha attacks stopped after we killed Jennifer. Turns out she'd been the only one in Seattle. Small mercy. But the victory felt hollow. Bishop felt it too. He'd been getting quieter, more withdrawn, working obsessively on his prosthetic. "You okay?" I asked one night. "Define okay." He adjusted the mechanical leg he'd built. "I can walk again, can't run. I can't fight like before, I'm a liability." "You're adapting." "I'm obsolete." He met my eyes. "You don't need me anymore, Axel. You've got Crown's people, Sarah's vaccine. The military ceasefire is holding. You could rebuild without me." "That's bullshit." "It's math. Resources are tight. I consume more than I produce, basic survival calculus." "You're my brother. Brothers die. You know that better than anyone." I didn't have an answer for that, because he was right. In war, eventually everyone you love dies. The question was just when. The infection came from nowhere. One of our supply runners got bit during a seemingly routine encounter. Hid it. Didn't report it. By the time we knew, she'd turned and infected 3 others, including Bishop. He came to me directly, showed me the bite on his left forearm, clean, fresh, even maybe 2 hours old. "I've got 12 to 48 hours, he said calmly. Depending on bite location and viral load, arm bite, probably closer to 24. I stared at the wound. "Sarah's vaccine. Only works pre-exposure, you know that. I'm infected." He met my eyes. "I'm dead, hermano, just haven't stopped moving yet." My hands were shaking. "We can try." "No." His voice was firm. "We've got limited vaccine supply. Every dose used on me is one less for someone who isn't already infected. The math doesn't work." "Fuck the math." "The math is all that matters." He grabbed my shoulders. "Listen to me. I'm not afraid of dying. Did it once already on the operating table in Kandahar. This is just slower. Bishop, I need you to promise me something." He pulled out a piece of paper. "I've been writing. Instructions. I'd for after. I want to be useful. My body. Sarah can use it. Study the infection progression. Might help develop a better cure." I couldn't speak. "And Axel? When I turn, I need you to kill me, clean, headshot. Don't let me become one of those things." "I can't." "You can. You will. Because that's what brothers do. They don't let each other suffer." We isolated him immediately. Quarantine room in the bunker, reinforced door, observation window. Sarah set up monitoring equipment. "I'll track the infection progress," she said quietly. "Document everything. If there's anything to learn, we'll learn it." Bishop was calm. Too calm. He'd accepted his death with the same professional detachment he'd had for every mission. Hour 6. Fever started. 101 degrees Fahrenheit. Hour 12. Aggression increased. He punched a wall. Broke his knuckles. He apologized immediately after. Hour 18. Cognitive decline. He couldn't remember my name for 30 seconds. I stayed with him the whole time, talking through the observation window, reminding him of missions we'd run, jokes we'd shared. The time in Kandahar when we'd held off 50 Taliban with nothing but rifles and bad attitudes. Hour 20. He was mostly gone, still aware but barely. Eyes clouding over. "Axel," he rasped. "Time. Soon. I know. Promise. You'll keep fighting." "I promise." "Good, unbrothered," he smiled slightly. "Tell Crown. He's ugly." Then the final transition hit. His eyes cleared for just a second, pure Bishop, pure consciousness, and he mouthed one word: "Now." I raised the pistol, aimed through the observation window. Bishop saw it, nodded slightly. I pulled the trigger. On the glass shattered. Bishop fell. Dead before he hit the ground. Sarah's reading showed infection at 87% completion. Another 10 minutes and he would have turned completely. We cremated him that night. Full military honors. Crown's entire organization attended. Even Anderson sent representatives. I kept his ashes in an ammunition box. Seemed appropriate. He was a good man, Crown said. He was an asshole, I corrected, but he was my asshole. The next morning I updated my kill log. Total kills 53, including one best friend. I closed the log, stared at my hands. They were steady, professional. Exactly what Bishop would have expected, but inside something had broken that wouldn't ever heal right. Sarah found me on the bunker roof that night. I was cleaning Bishop's rifle. He'd left it to me in his instructions. You did the right thing, she said. Doesn't feel right. It never does. But you gave him the end he wanted, quick, clean, with dignity. He deserved better than this apocalypse. We all did. She sat next to me. But we got what we got, and we keep going because that's what they would have wanted. She was right. Bishop wouldn't want me wallowing. He'd want me fighting. So I'd fight. For everyone we'd lost. For everyone still alive, until there was nothing left to fight for. Or until I joined Bishop in whatever came after. Whichever came first. They say grief makes you do crazy things. They're right. For 3 days after Bishop died, I did nothing. Sat in the bunker, stared at walls, couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't function. On day 4, something in me snapped. I geared up. Every weapon I could carry. SR-25, EM-4, 2 pistols, grenades, ammunition until I could barely move. Where are you going? Crown asked. Hunting. Axel, you're not thinking straight. I'm thinking perfectly straight. I chambered around. Bishop died because of the infected, so I'm going to kill every single one I can find. That's suicide. Probably. Sarah tried reasoning with me. Crown tried ordering his people to stop me. I went anyway. Took the fortress, drove into the most infected parts of Seattle, and started killing. No strategy, no tactics, just rage and bullets. Capitol Hill, 14 infected, headshots, efficient. University District, 23 infected, including 2 stalkers. Took some hits, but nothing critical. Downtown, 36 infected. Set up a kill zone in Pike Place Market, let them come to me. I lost count after 100. It didn't matter. Numbers didn't matter anymore. Day 2 of my rampage, the military found me. Anderson himself. Reaper, stand down. Negative. You're going to get yourself killed. That's the idea. He actually drove his Humvee into position to cut me off. Blocked my next hunting ground. Bishop wouldn't want this, Anderson said. Bishop's dead. And you think dying will bring him back? Anderson stepped out of the vehicle. I've lost men. Good men. Men I called brothers. And yeah, I wanted revenge. Wanted to burn the world down. So why didn't you? Because it wouldn't have brought them back, and it would have made their deaths meaningless. He looked at me. Your friend died fighting for something. Don't dishonor that by throwing your life away on a suicide mission. I wanted to argue, wanted to tell him he was wrong, but he wasn't. I lowered my rifle. For the first time in 2 days, really looked at myself, covered in blood, injured in a dozen places I hadn't noticed, running on empty. How many? I asked. How many what? How many did I kill? Last 2 days. Anderson checked his drone footage. We counted 287 confirmed, probably more we couldn't verify. 287 in 2 days. I'd nearly doubled my lifetime kill count in a grief-fueled rampage. Come on, Anderson said. Let's get you back to your people. He escorted me to the bunker. Didn't arrest me. Didn't even try. Just helped. Crown met us at the entrance. You look like shit. Feel worse. Sarah patched me up. 17 separate injuries. Minor, mostly. But cumulative damage that should have killed me. You're lucky, she said. Don't feel lucky. Bishop saved you. Even dead. And he kept you alive. You fought like him, crazy, fearless, effective. Maybe. Or maybe I'd just gotten lucky. That night I read Bishop's letter, the one he'd left with his will. Axel, if you're reading this, I'm dead. Probably did something stupid, definitely made a bad joke right before dying. That's my style. Don't do anything dumb to avenge me. I'm serious. You've got that look. I can see it even though I'm dead and you're reading this letter. Stop it. Keep fighting. Not for revenge, for the people still alive. That's what matters. We killed for money once, then for survival. Now kill for the future. Make it mean something. Also, you still owe me $50 from that bet in Kabul. If there's an afterlife, I expect payment. Your brother always, Bishop. I laughed, cried, both. The crazy bastard was right. Revenge didn't fix anything. But building something worth fighting for might. Over the next week, I threw myself into fortification projects, expanding safe zones, training new fighters, working with Sarah on vaccine distribution, made myself useful. Made Bishop's death count for something. Crown found me on the bunker roof one night. You doing okay? Define okay. Fair point. He sat down. Anderson's people found something. Thought you should know. What? Another nest, bigger than the one we destroyed, and it's heading this way. I closed my eyes. Of course it was. How big? Estimates put it at over 500 mutants, multiple variants, organized. Where? 20 miles north, moving south at about 5 miles a day. We had 4 days, maybe 5. We'll need everyone, I said. Military's already mobilizing. Anderson says this is it, the final push. We win this, we might actually have a future. I thought about Bishop, about all the people we'd lost. Then let's not waste it. 4 days to prepare for the fight that would determine if humanity survived in Seattle. 4 days to make sure Bishop's sacrifice meant something. I'd make damn sure it did. The final nest was massive. Drone footage showed a structure that had consumed 3 city blocks. Organic matter fused with buildings, streets, everything. At the center, another prime node, like Webb, but bigger. We're calling it Nest Mother, Sarah explained. Analysis suggests it's controlling every infected in a 50-mile radius. How many? I asked. Conservative estimate 800, worst case over 1,000. Crown whistled. And that's a small army. We've got a small army too, Anderson said. He'd brought everyone. 200 soldiers, all armed with our bunker weapons. Combined with our fighters, we had 300 defenders, against 1,000 monsters. The plan is simple, Anderson continued. We breach the nest, fight to the center, kill the mother. Everything else should become disorganized. Should, I questioned. It's the best theory we have. Fair enough. We mobilized every vehicle, every weapon. This wasn't surgical, this was total war. The assault began at dawn. Artillery first, borrowed from the National Guard armory Anderson had unlocked. Shells rained down on the nest, blowing holes in the outer structure. Then the breach teams went in. I led one team. Crown led another. Anderson took the third. Sarah stayed back with medical support, but she'd armed herself too. Everyone fought today. The nest interior was hell, organic walls pulsing with infection, eggs everywhere, and mutants, so many mutants. We fought room by room, corridor by corridor, every space contested. I switched between SR-25 for distance and M4 for close quarters. Professional, efficient. This was what I'd trained for my entire life. Kill 54, Stalker variant, ceiling ambush. Kill 55. Brute took 3 grenades, kill 60. Lost count. Didn't matter, we pushed deeper. Lost people, soldiers, fighters, civilians who'd volunteered. The casualties mounted. Crown's team got pinned down. We had to extract them, cost us 20 people. Anderson took a hunter claw to the shoulder, kept fighting anyway. And then we reached the center. The nest mother was massive, 20 feet tall, composed of dozens of fused infected hosts. At its core, a woman, or what used to be one. She was still conscious, still aware. "Killed me," she begged. "Light it up," I ordered. We threw everything: grenades, C4, incendiary rounds. The mother screamed, not just sound but psychic pressure that made our ears bleed. The infected went berserk. With the mother dying, they lost all coordination, became feral, dangerous but chaotic. We fought our way out. The nest was collapsing, burning, destroying itself from within. "Everyone out!" Anderson yelled. We ran, mutants chasing, structure falling, made it to the vehicles just as the nest exploded. The blast threw us 20 feet. When I got up, ears ringing, I saw the devastation. The nest was gone, just a crater. And around us, infected were stopping, dying. Without the mother, and the virus couldn't sustain them, we'd won. But the cost. I did a head count. Started with 300, ended with 183, almost 40% casualties. Crown had survived, Anderson too. Sarah was helping with triage, moving from wounded to wounded. I found her working on a soldier, young kid, gut shot, not going to make it. "I'm sorry," she said softly. "I can't save everyone." "You saved the ones that mattered," I said. Because we had won, destroyed the last major nest. The infected were dying out without their hive structure. It was over, not immediately. There were still scattered infected, still dangers. But the organized threat was broken. Sarah confirmed it 3 days later. Viral samples show degradation without the mother. The infection is dying. Give it 6 months, maybe a year, and the last infected will be dead. "So we won," Crown said. "We survived," I corrected. "Winning looks different." Seattle was a graveyard. Most of the population dead or fled, infrastructure destroyed, society collapsed. But we had survivors. We had vaccine. We had a chance. Anderson officially ended the manhunt. "You're pardoned, all of you. You helped save what's left of humanity. That earns amnesty." "Appreciate it," I said. "Don't thank me. Thank the people who fought beside you." I looked at our ragged group, soldiers, civilians, former enemies united by necessity. "We should build something," Crown said. "Make this mean something." "Like what?" "I don't know. A new government? A community? Something better than what we had." Sarah smiled. "Ambitious." "We survived the apocalypse," Crown said. "Ambition seems appropriate." They were right. We'd fought for survival. Now we could fight for something more. I updated my kill log that night. Total, 387. But I added something new. A second column. Lives saved, 183. Not perfect, not redemption, but a start. 6 months after the nest mother fell, Seattle was still a disaster zone. But it was our disaster zone. We'd established 3 safe zones connected by cleared routes. Agriculture was starting. Crown had found survivors with farming experience. Power was back in some areas. Sarah had gotten generators running. Civilization was rebuilding. Slowly. But there were still threats. Scattered infected raiders. The occasional mutant that had survived without the hive network. I'd taken on the role of security chief. Not officially, we didn't have official anything yet. But people looked to me for protection. "Report," I said at the morning briefing. Crown Scout summarized. 3 infected spotted near Safe Zone 2. We cleared them. 4 raiders tried to hit a supply convoy. We drove them off. And there's something else. "What?" Survivors reported seeing a creature north of the city. Big, smart, avoiding our patrols. I exchanged looks with Sarah. "Mutant?" Possibly, or just paranoia. Hard to tell anymore. I decided to investigate personally. Took a small team, 4 good shooters, and headed north. We found tracks. Big, clawed, fresh. "That's not infected," one of my team said. "That's something else." We followed the trail for 3 hours. It led to an abandoned warehouse. Inside, evidence of intelligence. And tools arranged deliberately, food stored. A nest, but organized. "Hello?" a voice called, female, scared. We raised weapons. "Show yourself." A woman emerged from the shadows, mid-30s, thin, clearly starving. But her eyes were clear, human. "Are you," I started. "Immune," she said. "I was bitten 3 months ago, but I didn't turn. The virus changed me, made me stronger, faster, but I'm still me." Sarah stepped forward. "That's impossible. The vaccine prevents infection, but it doesn't work post-exposure." "I wasn't vaccinated, I just survived." She held out her arm, healed bite marks, old scars. Sarah's eyes widened. "You're a natural immunity case. Your body fought off the infection without intervention." "Can you help me?" the woman asked. "I've been alone for so long." We brought her back. Sarah studied her blood. Found antibodies, natural resistance to the Lazarus virus. "If we can synthesize this," Sarah said excitedly, "we could create a cure, not just prevention, actual cure for active infections." "How long?" I asked. "Months, maybe years, but it's possible." Hope. Real hope. For the first time since the outbreak. We named the woman Patient Hope. She stayed with us, helping Sarah with research. But her discovery attracted attention. Military remnants wanted her blood. Raiders wanted to sell her. Even some of our own people saw her as a resource to exploit. "She's not property," I said at a council meeting. "She's a person." "She's the key to ending the virus," a counselor argued. "We should use her. Volunteer basis only, she decides how to help." It nearly tore our fragile government apart, but we held together, barely. Patient Hope chose to help, donated blood, participated in research, but on her terms. "Thank you," she said to me, "for treating me like a human." "That's what we're fighting for," I said, "to stay human." 3 months later, Sarah had a breakthrough, a prototype cure derived from Hope's antibodies. It worked on early-stage infections, could actually reverse the virus if caught within 12 hours. "This changes everything," Crown said. It did. People could be saved now. Families could be reunited if their infected loved ones were found early enough. We distributed the cure to every safe zone, trained medics on administration. Saved dozens of lives in the first week alone, but there was a cost. Producing the cure required Hope's continued blood donation. She weakened, got sick. "I can't keep this up," she admitted. "I'm dying." Sarah worked frantically to synthesize the antibodies artificially, but the research took time. Hope died before Sarah finished. "I'm sorry," Sarah said at the funeral. "I couldn't save her." "You saved hundreds with her help," I replied. "That counts for something." 2 weeks after Hope's death, Sarah completed the synthetic antibodies. We could produce cure without further blood donation. "We name it Hope Serum," Sarah declared. "In her memory." The cure spread, first to Seattle, then to other survivor enclaves, Portland, Vancouver, San Francisco. Humanity was coming back, slowly, painfully, but coming back. 1 year after the outbreak, we held the first election. Seemed stupid at first. We had maybe 5,000 survivors total in Seattle, hardly a population requiring formal government. But Sarah insisted, "If we don't establish rule of law now, we'll just recreate the same systems that failed us." The ballot was simple. Who leads? How do we organize? What laws do we want? Crown ran for governor. Anderson ran against him. Both wanted to lead. Both had different visions. I didn't run, just voted. Crown won, barely. "You sure you don't want a position?" he asked me. Security chief, official title and everything? I'm not a politician. You're a survivor, that's more valuable. I took the job, not because I wanted it, because someone had to make sure the new government didn't become the old government. We drafted a constitution, simple, based on the old one but adapted for our new reality. Right to life, right to defense, right to participate in decisions, and new rights, right to vaccine, right to cure, right to truth about what happened. That last one was mine. I pushed for full disclosure about Project Lazarus. Every file, every document, public record. Anderson opposed it. Some truths destabilize. Some lies destroy, I countered. We compromised, full disclosure, but gradually. Education programs to help people process the betrayal. It worked, mostly. Some people couldn't handle it. Riots broke out in Safe Zone 3. We had to restore order with force. But truth mattered more than comfort. The military officially disbanded. Anderson transitioned his soldiers into the new security force, integrated with our fighters, united chain of command. Strange how it worked out, Anderson said at the ceremony. Former enemies, now colleagues. War makes strange bedfellows, I replied. Peace makes stranger ones. Fair point. Sarah got her research facility, proper equipment, proper staff. She continued working on the virus, studying mutation patterns, preparing for potential future outbreaks. Just because we won this time doesn't mean we'll win next time, she said. Always the optimist. I visited Bishop's memorial regularly. We'd built it on the bunker roof, a small monument with his name, rank, and a quote I'd chosen. He died so others could live. Honor his sacrifice by living well. Felt appropriate. One day, Crown found me there. You okay? He asked. Define okay. That's becoming your catchphrase. It's an honest answer. We stood in silence for a while. Then Crown said, we did it. Against all odds, we actually survived. Some of us, the ones that mattered. He paused. That sounds callous. It's true. I looked at the city below. Lights in some windows now. People rebuilding. Bishop would be proud. He always wanted to matter. He did. They all did. 6 months after the election, we made contact with the federal government. What was left of it. They'd established a new capital in Denver. Had maybe 100,000 survivors across the country. We're trying to rebuild federal authority. We want you to rejoin the Union, their representative said. Crown and I exchanged looks. Under what terms? Crown asked. Standard statehood, federal oversight, military integration. No, I said flatly. Excuse me? We're not rejoining a government that created this disaster. You want our participation? You acknowledge what happened. You apologize. You submit to independent investigation. That's not how this works. That's exactly how this works. We have leverage. We have cure. We have hope serum. You need us more than we need you. Negotiations took months, but we got what we wanted. Full accountability, independent investigation into Project Lazarus, arrests of those responsible, justice, finally. The lead scientist who'd created the virus was tried and executed. Colonel Harper, who'd ordered Patient Zero's infection, died in prison. Anderson testified. Full disclosure, immunity in exchange for cooperation. You're letting him off? People asked me. He fought beside us, helped end the threat. That earns something. Not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. We rejoined the Union, but as a semi-autonomous zone. Our laws, in our government, federal support but local control. Best compromise we could get. Life slowly returned to normal, whatever normal meant now. People fell in love, had kids, built homes, started businesses. The apocalypse was becoming history, but we never forgot. 3 years after the outbreak, Seattle was almost recognizable again. Population had grown to 20,000. Agriculture was sustainable. Power grid was mostly restored. We even had schools running. The old world was gone, but the new world wasn't bad. I'd stepped back from active duty, trained the next generation of security forces, but didn't lead missions anymore. Too old, too tired, too many ghosts. "You're not even 40, Crown said when I announced my semi-retirement. "Feel 60. War does that. I'd taken up teaching instead. Combat tactics at the new military academy. Students who'd been kids when the outbreak hit, now old enough to defend their city. They called me Reaper. Not because I'd told them my call sign, because the legend had spread. "Is it true you killed 400 infected?" one student asked. 387, I corrected. "Keep accurate records." "Why?" "Because every death should mean something, even the enemies." They didn't understand. Not yet, but they would. Sarah continued her research, had made breakthroughs in understanding the virus, published papers that were shared with other survivor enclaves. "We're building a scientific community again," she said excitedly. "Trading knowledge, collaborating on problems. That's good. You should write about your experiences for the historical record." "I keep a kill log. That's enough. That's data. I mean the story, what you felt, what you thought. Future generations should understand." Maybe she was right. I started writing, not for publication, just for myself, processing what had happened. The memoir became therapy. Crown thrived as governor, tough but fair, built coalitions, managed conflicts, turned a survivor camp into an actual functioning government. "You thinking about federal office?" I asked him during a visit. "Hell no. I like it here. Simple problems, simple solutions." Nothing simple. Simpler than DC anyway. The Pacific Northwest had organized into a loose confederation. Seattle, Portland, Vancouver, BC working together. Trade, defense, shared resources. Other regions were doing the same. Midwest Alliance, Texas Republic, New England Coalition. America wasn't united anymore, but the pieces were working together. Anderson had retired fully, opened a bar in Safe Zone 1 called The Aftermath. Appropriate name. I visited sometimes. We'd drink, talk about the war, about what we'd lost. "Any regrets?" he asked once. "All of them," I said. "But I'd do it the same way again." That's the paradox, isn't it? Regret without alternative. That's command. We drank to absent friends. Bishop, Martinez, all the ones who didn't make it. 4 years after the outbreak, we held the first memorial service. Official recognition of what we'd been through. 50,000 names on the memorial wall. Everyone who died in Seattle during the outbreak. Bishop's name was there, so was Patient Hope's. So were the soldiers I'd fought beside and against. We survived, so they didn't die for nothing, Crown said in his speech. We built this new world as their legacy. Honor them by living well. Same thing I'd written on Bishop's monument. Guess some truths were universal. After the ceremony, I visited Bishop's grave. Actually grave this time. We'd found a real cemetery, buried his ashes properly. We made it, I said to the headstone. Humanity survived. You'd probably make a joke about that. Something about cockroaches and zombies. The wind blew, felt like an answer. I'm training kids now, teaching them to fight, to survive, to be better than we were. I paused. Still keeping count. 387 kills, 183 saves, net negative 204. Math didn't work that way, but it felt right to track. I'll make it positive, I promised. However long it takes, I'll save more than I killed. Ambitious, maybe impossible, but I had time. Sarah found me later. She'd been promoted to head of medical research, led a team of 50 scientists now. We're close to eradicating the virus entirely, she said, maybe 2 more years. That's good. Is it? She sat next to me. Part of me worries about what comes after. We united against a common enemy. What happens when the enemy's gone? We find new problems. Humans are good at that. Cynical. Realistic. But I understood her concern. War gave purpose. Peace required finding purpose on your own. Harder in some ways. We'll figure it out, I said. We always do. You sound optimistic. Don't tell anyone. Ruins my reputation. She laughed. First time I'd heard her laugh in months, and we sat together watching the sunset over Seattle. A city rebuilt, a society restored. Not perfect, but alive. That had to be enough. 5 years after patient zero. I stood on the bunker roof looking at the city below. Seattle stretched out, lights glowing in the gathering dusk. Almost looked normal. Almost. Crown had served 2 terms as governor. Stepping down next month. New generation taking over. Sarah had eradicated 98% of the Lazarus virus. Remaining 2% was isolated, contained, no longer a threat. The apocalypse was over. Officially. So why did I still feel like I was fighting? Because you're a warrior, Anderson said, joining me on the roof. He'd come up for the memorial anniversary. 5 years since the first outbreak. Warriors don't stop fighting, and we just find new battles. What's your battle now? I asked. Alcoholism mostly. You? Purpose. He laughed. Fair enough. We'd become friends, strangely. Former enemies bonded by shared trauma. He understood things Crown and Sarah couldn't. The weight of command, the cost of decisions. You training recruits tomorrow? He asked. Every day, 20 students this semester, good kids, smart, won't make our mistakes. They'll make their own. That's the hope. My kill log sat in my quarters. I'd stopped updating it daily. The final count, 412 kills, 217 saves, net negative 195, still in the hole, but improving. You know that math is bullshit, right? Anderson had said when I showed him. It's my bullshit, let me have it. The memorial wall had grown, 60,000 names now, and as we found more bodies, identified more dead. 60,000 lives ended, but 20,000 living. That was the trade. Acceptable? No. Necessary? Yes. Bishop's grave was well maintained. People left flowers, not because they'd known him, because his story had become legend. The last stand of Bishop Kane. That's what they called it. The soldier who'd sacrificed himself to save his brothers. Wasn't exactly accurate, but it honored him. That mattered more than accuracy. I visited every week, told him about the students, about the city, about how we'd actually made it. You'd hate the bureaucracy, I said to the headstone. So much paperwork, no shooting, just meetings and votes and procedures. The wind blew. I imagined his voice. Sounds like hell, hermano. It is, but it's peaceful hell. You'd appreciate the irony. I'd written my memoir. Sarah had been right. Future generations needed to understand. The book was required reading in schools now. Outbreak, a soldier's account. Hated seeing my name on it, but the stories needed telling. Students would ask, why'd you keep fighting? After Bishop died, why not give up? Because giving up meant his death was pointless. Better to make it mean something. They didn't always understand, but some did. The ones who'd lost people. The ones who carried their own ghosts. Those were the ones I could actually teach. Crown threw a retirement party. 5 years of survival deserved celebration. Speech, someone called out. I hated speeches, but stood anyway. 5 years ago, we thought the world was ending, and it was. The world we knew died, our loved ones died, or our society died. Silence. They'd heard this before. But we didn't die. We adapted. We fought. We survived. And we built something new. I looked around the room. Faces I knew, faces I'd saved, faces that had saved me. This isn't the world we wanted, it's the world we got. But it's ours. We made it. Through blood and loss and impossible choices, every person in this room sacrificed something, lost someone. I raised my glass. To the fallen. May their sacrifice never be forgotten. May our survival honor their memory. May the future be worthy of their loss. To the fallen, they echoed. We drank. Later, alone on the bunker roof again, I updated my log one final time. Total kills 412. Total saves 20,000, counting every survivor in Seattle. Net positive 19,588. Math still didn't work that way. But psychologically, and it helped. I'd spent my life killing. War, survival, protection. 412 lives ended by my hand. But 20,000 saved, directly or indirectly, through fighting, through teaching, through building something worth saving. Bishop would say I was being too hard on myself, that kill counts didn't define worth. Maybe. But I kept the log anyway. Honesty mattered. Sarah found me later. She'd been crying. Good tears, she assured me. We did it, she said. We actually did it. Humanity survived. Some of us. The ones that mattered. She used Crown's old phrase. Axel, you trained 300 security personnel. Each one has saved dozens of lives. Your students will save thousands. The ripple effect of your choices is immeasurable. That's not how I measure. I know, but it's true anyway. Maybe it was. And the city lights spread below us. 20,000 souls. Building, learning, living. We'd fought for this, died for this, sacrificed for this, and it was worth it. Not perfect, not what we'd wanted, but alive. Bishop's voice in my memory. That's good enough, hermano. That's good enough. Yeah, it was. I closed my log, put it away, didn't need to count anymore. The war was over. Time to learn how to live in peace. Turned out that was the hardest mission of all. But I'd survived the apocalypse. I'd survived this too. The end.